Hello students, welcome to our online class for BU 342 on Thursday, October 19th. I'm not sure why when I record the audio onto the PowerPoint it isn't working. As such, I decided to upload a video to YouTube so you could at least hear my audio on the first part of the slides. So first, and you can see when you go through the PowerPoints on your own, you're going to review our topics from last class, which was newspaper and magazine advertisements. And today's class is going to focus on radio and TV advertisements. This PowerPoint's going to explain the pros and cons. It's going to outline pricing, give a history, and also note there are a variety of reflection questions that are embedded into this PowerPoint. So please be sure to answer all of these questions in a Microsoft Word document and drop these back to me. The first thing that I do want you to note, and you can notice this when you go through the PowerPoint on your own, is that digital spending is actually starting to increase and rise above TV spending. So though today's lecture is just focused on TV spending and also radio spending, digital is starting to rival that. And I know this is a little fuzzy because I'm holding up the phone while recording audio, but you can see these slides in the full format when you look at the slide PowerPoint content. I also want you to notice cable statistics. Look at this. Over the last 5 years, the amount of cable subscribers are down. Why is this? Why are cable subscriptions down? Think about it. Do you pay for cable services or do you utilize alternative methods? Well, a lot of people in your age group, specifically ages 18 to 36, utilize things such as Netflix, satellite TV, Amazon Prime, or Hulu. Some of these networks don't allow advertising, don't allow commercials. These are things that marketers must consider, especially if they advertise to millennials. But look over here. Ages 49 to 67 and 68 plus certainly do still utilize your basic type of cable paid subscription. Another thing to keep in mind when you do marketing. So you'll see this is the first reflection question of a variety that are embedded into this PowerPoint. First question I want you to think about is, do you subscribe to a paid TV service such as Netflix? Why or why not? So go ahead and answer this and then look through the rest of the slides. Before we go into the pros and cons of TV advertising, I did want to allocate a few slides to the history of TV advertising. I do want the students to understand that today we can very well target because there's so many specific channels such as HBO, Showtime, ESPN. When these channels first came about, people thought that it would never work, that there's no way that these networks would fill all of this airtime and have advertisements that they would fill, that these specialized channels would never work. Sure enough, they did. Even with ESPN, critics said, no way. Obviously, ESPN is a huge success today. ESPN now has a variety of channels. When you go back and look at our PowerPoint, you can see that ESPN has a lot of different channels now. They have ESPN, they have ESPN2, they have ESPN Global, they have all sorts of stuff, and they fill all of those advertising slots. When you look at the PowerPoint, you will see that ESPN sales have spiked over time. Now, it is important to note that they have started to see a decline since 2011. That was really their peak phase. Let's keep in mind the product life cycle. We need to watch that they don't start to decline. They need to capitalize on opportunities and start to increase. CNN, when they first came out as a specialized network, got mocked or called the chicken noodle network because people thought that they were destined to fail. No one wants to watch news all day. Well, sure enough, people do, and they're a very popular network. Same with MTV. They played music videos all day long. Now, of course, today they don't do that. They have all sorts of TV shows such as Teen Mom, and in fact, I don't think they even play any music videos, but they're certainly a success. they've certainly altered to stay relevant, and they absolutely fill their advertising space. Discovery Channel, Comedy Central, they're both the same as well. They both fill all the advertising space. What this has created is a franchising frenzy that all of the major networks now want to acquire all of these specialized, small, niche TV markets. Why? Because they're successful and advertisers want to advertise on them. When you look at the PowerPoint, you will see that CBS, for instance, has Viacom, BET, MTV, Comedy Central, Nickelodeon, all sorts of specialized channels. So this is the last slide that I'll give audio on, and then you can go through the rest on your own. But the next reflection question, I want you to invent your own new cable TV channel. If you had to pick maybe a hobby or an interest of yours, what would that be? And how would they fill 24 hours of ad time? And who would they advertise to? So you guys know I'm into mom and mom stuff. As such, I'm going to propose maybe a mom network. That would be my unique niche market. Well, what companies would want to advertise on it in Reflection Area C? I think a lot of companies. I think companies that make baby clothes, such as Carter's. I think companies that make baby food, such as Gerber. And I also think clothing companies for new moms. Now also keep in mind, you need to fill airtime 24 hours a day. So you need to come up with unique shows that would drive marketers in. What types of shows? On my mom network, I think maybe a show that's kind of like The Doctors that discusses vaccinations or sicknesses or illnesses that are going on with the kid at that time and home remedies. I think maybe a show on cool new kid toys. And third, I think a show on mom hacks, ways that moms can still feel good about themselves and ways to maybe sneak in getting your hair done or a manicure while the kids are napping. So now please go ahead and review these slides carefully on the pros and cons of TV advertising. Please note that questions from this lecture will be included on our final exam, so be sure to understand these slides. If you don't understand them, please email me or talk to me in class about it. Thanks so much.